So good afternoon, student. So today we will going to discuss about the aggregate function. So how the aggregate function is working in SQL and what is the aggregate function, how they are to be implemented. So let us see those aggregate function what is there. Now when we say about the aggregate function is also called the multiple row functions. Okay, it is also known as a multiple row function. So these functions work on what to save the records as a whole and returning the single values, isn't it? So in this particular things we can find it. There are the different ways or different way of implementation of the functions. Now each of the columns that we have, the records that we have, and how can we apply it on the table and how can we make it. So there is a difference between the single row function and the multiple row function. So single row function and multiple row function, as we can find that those the particular things. What is the first difference? That it operate in a single row at a time. Okay, but at a time, but in a multiple row, it operate on a group of rows. Fine. So it returns one result per row. That is the thing, and it return the result of a group per row. Now it can be used to select where the order by the clause, and there is one select by this clause only. And there what we say, the math, string, date functions are the single examples of those particular single row functions. Now multiple row functions like max, mean, average, count, all these things are multiple. That means from here we can get one idea that when we are making them, when we are using them, here we are implementing in one section, and there we can implement in a whole. That means in all the part. So today's that we will going to discuss about the max function. What is the max function of it? So max function, as we say, that is max function. We will going to take the from the, suppose there is a price in your inventory. So from there we can take the highest amount of values, isn't it? That mean function means what, we can take the minimum amount of value from there. Then average, if you want to take out the average of a price, that also we can do. So these are the things that we can find that we can make it. Now sum and count. So this is the sum value that we find, that we will going to make the total of not only the inventory from other table also. If we have a price and all these things, then or age sum, different pattern of sum that we can use, and we can do it. And next what we can find, count will going to return that how many number of the values are there. How many number of the values are there? That what we see, that we can find that we will going to use it, and we will going to implement it. So this the implementations that we see. This the implementation that we find, that we have those the implementations, and as we are implementing them, as we are working them, we can find it how those aggregate function will going to work. Okay, so these are some of the aggregate function. More the aggregate function we will continue on the next class. So let us see how those functions and how the implementation of those functions can be. Okay, and how we can work on this particular aggregate function. So let us see that particular thing. Let us see that particular part. So as we are discussing the aggregate function, let us see the implementation of it. So first let us see how many table we have here. So SHOW, show, TABLES, show tables. So as we do show tables, we can see that those the tables. Let us convert it into the caps lock. So see here what we have, the employee, inventory, sales, and student. Now, one of this particular table, like employee, sales, or inventory, we can see the structure. First, let us see the values in there. Okay, so what we will do is CLECT, select asterisk FRO and from. Then what we can find is suppose employee EMP. Okay, select asterisk from employee. See here, employee table has got those values are there. Now on next the table, that means on which table, one table we will use the things, and we will going to see. So first let us do in the employee table. So employee table, we have a salary. Based on this salary only, those the functions what are there, function we will going to use. First, what max function. So what we will then write, that ACLECT, select what max, max, max of what, max of suppose salary, SAL, salary, max of salary, then from where, that max of salary, FROM, from suppose EMP, employee. So when we are giving this, when we are using those particular thing, when we are writing those particular thing, that max of salary from the table name, this is our table name is now employee. So when we give enter, you see that the maximum salary is what, 9,50,000. Okay, so this is the things. Now if you want to do that ACADCET, select MIN, mean of what, mean of salary. So SAL, mean of salary, then from where, FROM, from EMP, employee. So when we are using those things, you can find it, you can see it, that those the values are there, and those particular pattern of values are being implemented and are being used of. Fine. So when we are making those pattern, when we are making those structures, we can see, we can find that how we can use them, and how we can make them to be implementable, and to be workable. So this is the way that we find, this is the way that we see that we have those the particular values, and as we are having those values, we can meet them, and we can use them in this way. So max mean, next to what we see, average. Okay, so we want the same thing. Let us do the average. So how to do it, that ACLECT, select, then AVD, average of what, average of the table that we have, average of what, salary, suppose SAL, salary. So when we are making average of salary, FROM, from EMP, employee. Okay, so we can make the average of it. Say the number will be taken, and as we find it, those the numbers are been taken, then we can implement it, and we can use it for this particular implementation. Fine. For this implementation, we are using them, and we are making them in this way. So this is what we can see, this is what we can find, that when we are making those pattern, when we are working on this pattern, so each of this particular pattern that we have, each of this particular pattern that we are implementing, and that we are making, so how then we can make it, and how then we can extract the value. That means our main frame that we want to do is to extract the value. So those the values what are there, those the values that we can find, that we have those the pattern. Okay, and each and every pattern that we are going to meet, and each and every pattern that we are going to use it, we can use them, we can make it for the implementation of the data that we have, and that we are organizing. Right. So three phases we have seen in one table. So let us see in some other table. What are the other table that we do have? We have here the inventory table and sales table also. Okay, so let us see what is the structure there in inventory table. ACADCET, select asterisk FROM, from INVENTORY, inventory. Select asterisk from inventory, so it will show us all the details. See, there is a card ID, price, okay, final price, all these things are there. So we have a lot of options there in this particular inventory table. So let us do it. SELECT, select MAX, max of what, max of this suppose price. Okay, max of PRICE, max of price, then from, FROM, from inventory, 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 inventory. Okay, so as we are making those things, as we are seeing those things, we can find it that we have those maximum price that is been implemented here and that is been used here. So and those the max price that we have and that we are having or implementing in this particular pattern, then we can use those max price here. Fine. If I want the minimum price, suppose from final price, so how I will going to do? I will write ACLE select, then MIN minimum of what, final price, FINAL final price. Now this final price is from which? FROM from INVENTORY inventory. So when we find this, when we see it, that we can find those the values are there, and this way we can find out the maximum, minimum, and average also. Okay, let us see the average of it. CT select, then AVG, or you can write full average also. Average of what? Average. These are the aggregate function. That means you can see from all the phases it is taking and it is working. Suppose final price, FINAL final price. So final price from FROM, from what? From which table? From the table inventory, INVENTORY inventory. So as we find it, you can see those particular pattern are being implemented and are being used. So when we are using them, when we are making them, we can see that how those values and how those particular data sheets are being using and are being working with. So when we are making them, when we are using them, these are the things that we find. That means maximum, minimum, and average. Those are the three very common things that we required to implement in our table. Okay, now we haven't given here, you see, any this particular name. So by default name, what it is coming? Average, final price, then minimum, final price, isn't it? So those the things have been taken by those things by default. Fine. So when we are having those particular criteria, when we are seeing those criteria, next then what we need to see? Next we need to find out the sum and column. How many columns are there from the particular tables? How many columns that we can find it out from there. So these are the things that we see. These are the things that we find that how many columns are there and what is the sum that we will going to calculate. So what we will do if you want to create it? So ACLECT select, and then what? SUM sum of what? That sum we need to do now. Sum of what we required to do, which attribute and from where. So which attribute and from where? Suppose we want to do the sum of what? Sum of the price. Okay, sum of price. So sum of what? PRICE, price. Sum of price. Now from where do we want to show? FROM, from, then INVENTORY inventory. Okay, so there we find it that when we are making this, when we are seeing this particular thing, see the total value has been shown to us. There is a total value. What is the total value is there? That particular value is shown to us. So this is what we can see the sum function. That means what we are seeing implementing in the table only, but it is can we say it as a single phase or single implementation. Okay, so when we want to make a multiple implementation, that means many more tables are there. That time we have to find the other ways that how we can do this work and how we can make this work. Right? So there is the particular pattern, there is a particular thing that we have done. Next what then we can do after the sum? After the sum there is a count. Okay, after the sum, there is a count. So when we want to do the count, when we want to make the count, So this the particular count that has been working that we find it. So we have to count what a particular or specified data. So when we need to count a particular or specified data, that means what we will going to do is CELECT. Select what? Select. We need to select what COUNT count. Now, what we require to count? What is the things that we are to count? We need to count that how many those the values are there, isn't it? How many values we have given? Count what? Suppose from the table, all will come at the same thing. The count what we see here and what we find it here. Suppose we want to do model count model. So count what? MODEL. Count model then FROF from what? Inventory. 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 So as we are doing this, as we find it, you can see those the particular pattern that we are having, and we are creating them. We are making those particular patterns to be implemented, so we can implement it, we can make it in a certain way that we have. So what we have seen that there are the aggregate function like what? Max, mean, then sum, then count. All these aggregate functions are there. So each of these particular aggregate function, they can be usually satisfied and they can be filled it up. Fine. So this particular feeling we are going to see. We are going to make it in such a way or in such a phenomenon where we find, where we see that each of this particular data, each of this particular pattern that we are having and we are making, we can make it and we can use it in the way that we require it for. Okay, that we require it for. So we are requiring those data, we are making those data. So as we are requiring the data, as we are making those data, we can make that how the data are being implemented and how we will going to make it. Okay, how we will going to make it. So this is the things, these are the things you can see: max, mean, average, sum, count. So not only in this table. Why we are using in this table? Because we find it, we see it that in this particular table we have a lot of numerical figures, isn't it? So since we have a numerical figures, therefore we are going to give the particular instruction in such a way where we can operate with or work with the numerical figures. Fine. Where we can work with the numerical figure. That is very important thing. That is very important part. Now, as we are working on this particular numerical figure, next what we will going to see is that a count function count what the particular unnamed part we will going to give here now. Okay, little bit twist we are making in account. So as we are making a little bit twist in a count, so that is the things that sometime we do find it, we can see it that we require those things. Okay, we require those things. That means what we will do. Suppose I am writing SELECT, select, and COUNT count. Okay, select count. Now you open a bracket, give the asterisk sign, close the bracket. Now select count. What to count? Select count. What to count? Select count. Then we have to give the particular name of the sections. Okay, suppose we want to give the name of the sections that we find, that is there, that are how many data value is there. So we can select, with her, those the things we can select with those the frames and see it how we are going to make it. So what we have written, select count, then asterisk. Now we have to write it what from. For O M, from which table? Inventory. Suppose inventory, inventory. Now let us see how many things it has counted. Okay, how many thing it has counted? Let us see this particular one. Say six values are there. That means all total it has find, it has seen that there are six values there, and those the six values what is there, they are to be implemented and they are to be worked in a particular specified way. That means we have a specified manner for it, and as we are giving a specified manner for it. Okay, now we are giving the specified manner for it. So this the specified manner that we have, this the specified structure that we are doing, and uh, working, and we are making. We do made it, and we do work on it in the various form. So what is the particular link that we have got, how we can find those the links can be utilized. So we have to check all these things, we have to find all these things, that how those data values, how we can check those the particular data values are there. So each and every data value will going to work. So as we see, as we have find it that we have those data structures, and we are working on those data structures. So what is there, and that way also we will give. So here what we find, here what we see, that we are making those pattern, and we are using those pattern. Okay, we are using those patterns. So how we are using them, what is the way that we are using them. So the way that we find that we have we have those uses that create to create to see. Now now you see here, now you find here that select country, okay, this the particular thing that it has been said, it has been utilized, that what that display the total number of records in the inventory with a model having VX. That may see here, now we are giving the count option with some means clues. Okay, so what to do, what we will write here, select ACLECT, select COUNT, select just a minute, select asterisk, then FROM, from INVENTORY, inventory. Select asterisk from inventory. Next what we have, that we have to write here, that we are counting. Okay, we want to count. Now when we do select asterisk from inventory, what we can find it, we can see those what are the data there. So these are the data we have. Now what we want to do, we want to use there the count command. Okay, so what we will write, SELECT, select, then open the bracket, then you then what we find, that what things that we need to take, what things that is there that we need to take here. So select count. So what to be counted from here, and what we are requiring to count. Okay, select what we requiring to count. So that we will going to give, that the thing we will going to give. So let us write it then, COUNT, count, and then open the bracket. Then we are giving here asterisk, and we are closing. Select asterisk, count asterisk, FROM, from where, from inventory. So as we are using the inventory, so we will use it. So INVENTORY, inventory. Select asterisk from select count from select count asterisk from inventory, where, WH WHERE, where what? Suppose this is what card name equals to card 3. Okay, where CAR card, then name equals to sorry, card name equals to that we need to give equals to sign. Card name equals to what we will find, suppose card 3, where card name equals to card 3, so see at what we are CAR card 3. Okay, card 3. So this is the thing that we find that we are giving it here. So as we find it, we are giving it here. Now see how many values are there. There are two values exist based on the card 3. Okay, there are two value exist based on the card 3. So this is the way we can see, this is the way we can find that we have those the values, and we are implementing those values. Okay, now let us see the another one. Let us find the another implementation of the values and another implementation of this particular data pattern. Okay, another implementation of the data pattern. Suppose if we want to use a distinct here, okay, we can also use the distinct here, distinct option. Distinct means what? Only one that will going to come. Okay, only one it will going to come. So that that the distance we can do it. So what we will then write it from there. So let us write it. So select SELECT, select maybe select then distinct, DISTINCT, distinct. So select this particular distinct. Now when we are doing the distinct, what are the distincts do? We need to make it count. Okay, that means see here, COUNT, count. So count, then we will open a bracket, distinct. What distinct? Distinct, suppose I want to give this car name. Okay, so CARNAME, car name. So distinct car name, this car name needed to be distinct. After we make this one distinct, after we made it a distinct, then what we find it, we can find it that from where we want to bring it. So FROM, from the table name is what? Inventory, INVENTORY, inventory. So as we are doing so, you see there are three values in there. That means why three values? Because you see here car 1, two times, so one values, car 2, two times, again one values, car 3, two times, and one value. So distinct, when we are writing, that means it will going to show us the value only one time, means it will count the value only one time. If we have repeated things, if we find that we have there the repeated thing, so those the repeated thing, what is there, each and every repeated thing that we have, that will not be counted, that will be exempted from there. So when we are exempting it, when we are making those pattern of the values, when we are seeing those particular pattern of the values, what we are doing there, we are making them to be used and to be implemented in a certain way, or in the particular way, isn't it? We are using them in a particular way. So as we are using them in a particular way, this is the format, and this is the particular structure that we have, that is being there, and we do make them to be implemented and to be used. Okay, we are using them, and we are making them for this the particular purpose. This the purpose, and as we are making those the purpose, as we are using those the purpose, we can see that how those values will be named. So what we have read till now, we have read max, mean, then count, isn't it? Then average. So those the particular pattern of the values that we have, and we are going to meet them, and we are going to use them in a certain phenomenon and in the certain way that we have, and we have the implementation of this particular structure. Okay, then student, today I am ending the class here. Thank you all.